As far as I'm aware, Japan's exports mainly comprise of anime, confusing pornography, and straight up crazy. Now, although I don't claim to be an expert on that third thing, when it comes to anime on the other hand, I happen to consider myself to be something of a Moses figure. So much so that I randomly go about recommending my favorite anime shows to complete strangers without any context whatsoever. And of course, as my fellow anime fans are all too aware, the show that most people are talking about this upcoming season is Attack on Titan. So I figured, since the final part of season 4 is set to air come early March, now would be the perfect time to revisit some of its earlier content. Attack on Titan 2 is a third-person action game that loyally recaps the events of the first 2 seasons, which of course is just a way of sugarcoating the fact that the writers basically copy-pasted all the story and dialogue from their favorite scenes in the anime. But hey, it's all in how you sell it. And to be honest, this isn't necessarily a bad thing considering how the team behind this project was none other than Koei Tecmo, a developer not exactly known for having great storytelling, and whose previous titles included games like Ninja Gaiden and Nioh 2, or as the internet prefers to call them, Sexy Booby Ninja Hacky Slasher and Anime Waifu Generator 2021 respectively. The core gameplay of Attack on Titan 2 is unsurprisingly fast-paced and laser-focused on doing just one thing, and that of course would be killing titans. And this of course being an anime game is best achieved by attaching gas-powered grappling hooks to yourself and launching headfirst into the titan with the intention of carving your initials into their exposed naked body, like inmates during a prison riot. Yet despite the game being more dependent on this one mechanic than Michael Bay movies are on special effects, I was still very engaged. Your grappling hook allows you to easily traverse the map, meaning that you're hardly ever bogged down. The prolonged air times means that you're free to circle your targets from the sky, waiting for just the right moment to swoop in and ruin someone's picnic. And during the few moments where you are forced to land, the game is still able to build a lot of suspense, as while you're on the ground, you're more exposed than a teenage cheerleader in an Eli Roth film played by Sean Bean. However, while the grappling hook is great for a quick getaway, it does become quite a nuisance when you're trying to reach short distances. This was a particular problem when I found myself awkwardly failing to land on a small platform over and over again, before eventually giving up and just deciding to walk to the damn thing. The target lock tends to get confusing when dealing with multiple enemies closely packed together, making attacking the vulnerable part of the Titan feel like reaching for the one iPad in a crane game that's mostly filled with rattlesnakes. The consumable items suffer the same problem as the Monster Hunter games in that it takes several button inputs to navigate through the clunky menu just to select the exact item you need, meaning that whipping out a quick flash grenade to avoid being turned into a cheeseburger is about an effective form of defense as rubbing peanut butter and mayonnaise over your nipples. The game also falls into the same trap most other Japanese games tend to do, in that they quickly become overburdened with number grinding, as if it's some sort of strange ritualistic obsession to please all the accountants secretly running the world. The sword and grappling hook being the only tools in the game means that the crafting system is just there to min-max your stats, often very insignificantly. In fact, the crafting mechanic as a whole feels kinda pointless, as your gear progression is completely dictated by the rewards earned at the end of each mission. So the game might as well just automatically upgrade my gear for me, as it's not like I can upgrade anything faster than the game lets me, nor does it have any real impact on the core gameplay. As for the writing, well, this is where it gets tricky. Most of the characters are very quirky and completely over the top, making it nearly impossible to take this dystopian society seriously. Although to be fair, that tends to be the common feature among anime. To make matters worse, most of the plot points are purposely left unanswered in the early seasons, and I don't want to be the guy to tell you that you need to read or watch a bunch of extra material just to understand what's happening in the story, as that is just a terrible excuse for bad storytelling. I mean, hell, if the CIA strapped me to a chair and forced me to watch 50 hours of Star Wars prequels, I'd probably lose my mind and end up building a shrine to Jar Jar Binks from Stockholm Syndrome. However, when it comes to Attack on Titan, the story literally only reveals what's going on in the 4th season, and the first 3 seasons is spent developing the characters, which is understandably frustrating, as the show just refuses to show its hand, like a high school student trying to cheat through an exam. That being said, the central themes explored in the 4th season are extremely thought-provocative, as it takes inspiration from the beginnings of the Second World War, which absolutely vindicates the slow pacing in the first 3 seasons. If you are trying to pick up the show for the first time, I'd recommend watching it in the machete order, as in watch the first 2 parts of season 4, and then go back to the start and watch the rest in its natural order. It won't prevent you from wanting to strangle several of the characters, as you're probably gonna need therapy for that, but at least now you'll understand their motivations. Overall, I like this game. Despite all the nitpicking, the game doesn't overstay its welcome, and does do a good job recapping the key story elements from the first 2 seasons. While I would like to reiterate that the source material isn't for everybody, if you do happen to be a fan of the series like me, then this might just be the game for you. The only possible deal breaker is the price tag. Like, come on fellas, this game was released in 2018. Why is it still marked as $60 USD. That's more expensive than Monster Hunter Rise, and seeing that kind of makes me disappointed that I'm the target audience for the game. I mean, if you're gonna charge an arm and a leg for your game, then the least you can do is include an automatic humping toy or something.